Today, you'll be receiving from a message full of God's power to help you become everything that God has created you to be. You know, God sent his son, Jesus, to die for you to have a life of abundance and for you to be an ambassador for him. What does that mean? That your life should represent his goodness. It's time to be about it. Tune in today's message and you'll be blessed.
This pendulum, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I want to point something out here. When you look at 1 Kings 18 and verse 21, when Elijah did say again, how long halt you between two opinions? Now, here's the interesting thing about a pendulum, and I thought this was so slick when the Lord showed this to me, is when you have a pendulum and it's swinging. Once it is released, so if I have a pendulum and I'm swinging it from up here, once it is released, it never returns to the same height it started. The more that it swings, it creates less of an arc, and it's lower and lower and lower. Why? Because it's dealing with forces of gravity and drama, and circumstances are pressing against it, which even though I'm trying to swing back into the things of God, as long as I stay on this pendulum, I'm not actually able to hit where I started when I decided to stop trusting God in the first place. The other interesting thing that he showed me about a pendulum is, I used to ask this question all the time. You know, I would see like these super successful people, and even sometimes you see this even in the Christian faith. You'll see some super successful people who have done wonderful, marvelous things for God, and they're up here, and then the next thing you know, here comes something, and they're like so far, like it's just super, like how did this happen to this person? And the Lord showed me is that Satan is nothing but he can't create anything, but he tries to pervert it. So as you go higher in God, there's more pressure on you to not just swing away from God, but to swing even further, because the pendulum goes from where it is on the light. If you let it, it will swing to that equal level on the darkness. And that's why you can have people, or you can even yourself, be a supreme follower of God, and if you let your faith go, you can find yourself caught up in stuff you never, ever, 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 ever would have thought would have happened to you. And this is what we have with Elijah. Complete swing. Raising people from the dead, outruns a chariot, and it starts raining, kills all these prophets of Baal and that sit at Jezebel's table. This guy is now under a tree, and he's suicidal. I'm God's man of power. Bring everybody out here and all the enemies in my table. Bring them out here. Yes, get them out here. Let me make fun of your God. Watch what my God can do. Oh, God, kill me. Look at your neighbor and say, it's time to get off this pendulum. Now, you have to ask this question is, what starts the pendulum? Simply it's this, it's giving into circumstances. An easy thing to do, it's a very easy thing to do. I think if you were to honestly poll everyone in here, they deal with this on a regular basis on some issue. The Bible talks about setting aside that sin that easily besets. You've never fully arrived. There's always higher to go in God. But I think the best way to kind of describe this is a fair weather type person. Now we see this a lot with our wonderful Detroit Lions. You also can see this right now with the Tigers. We've been doing well, from what I understand. I didn't check today. I know that can change quickly, but, it's really interesting when I married my husband, and, I'm either usually making people laugh at my dad or my husband. Today it's going to be my husband, I think. Hold on, Dad. You never know. But when he first moved here from England, he didn't care anything about. He didn't know anything about Detroit sports or anything. And, I went to University of Michigan, so I'm like, go blue. And I have some people in my life that I love that are MSU fans, and we're going back and forth like green, white, blue. What color is the church? Blue. What color is money? Green. But we just going back and forth. And I remember I told my husband, okay, well, you are a Wolverines fan, because we're one. We've cleaved together. Now, he did not care. And, I have people in my life trying to be like, you're going to be a Spartans fan. I'm like, not under my roof. We are one. We have to be in agreement on all things. And they weren't really, when he was in England, they weren't really pushing the NFL in England like they're pushing it now. And so he didn't really care. So I was like, okay, and you're also a Lions fan. And so we bought him some Lions gear. We usually have, somebody in my family has season tickets, which means I have them. And so we would go to some games and, all that kind of stuff. And, that sort of thing. And for those of you who are true Lions fans, you go through that up and down with me where we just upset. Like, who we trade for who? Like, what? Fire the coach, because we like, one day we're going to be great. I hope it happens in my lifetime. But one day we're going to be great, right? Well, my husband was in the store one day trying to buy another team's hat. I was like, what? Because, he got a big Lions jacket, he got the hat, he got the sweatshirt. We hooked him up. And he loved, this is sweet, I like this. He'd been to Ford Field, he'd been at the games with it, forward down the field, the whole night. You know the song and everything. But he had been to and watched too many games where we just lost, and lost in the dumbest ways. So he was like, I'm not a Lions fan no more because I need to be on somebody's team. I'm a root for Green Bay because they win. I told him, I said, you are a fair weather fan. And he said, okay, call it what you want. I'm getting that at. Now, that's just an example of what, if you're not careful, Satan wants to put you on this pendulum. He's okay with your highs because he knows you swinging back if you let him keep you on this pendulum. And one thing we cannot be is be fair weather when it comes to the things of God. While it's looking good and feeling good, that's why when you see people in church and they're praising God, I hope that if you dancing across the front of this building at praise and worship, that when something hits you between your eyes at home, you dancing at home as well. Because, the thing is, it's when you really want to know what's on the inside of you is when the pressure comes. And you can't be this person where I'm going to serve God while things are going my way, while it looks like my enemies aren't doing well because, you should have followed God. Look at you now. You want to be like me? You need to apologize first, and then you need to change your way. When it's looking like you're the one who's just holding on in faith, and it looks like the people that don't give a care about God, that all seem to be prospering, will you stand with God, or will you get on that pendulum and run away as a fair weather Christian?
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I want to invite you to subscribe, as well as visit our website at michelleferguson.org. We have some materials there that can help you as you walk through life, live the life that God created for you. As always, I'm Michelle Ferguson, helping you to discover, develop, and celebrate who God has created you to be. See you next time.